Good morning, team. It is Tuesday, June 29th. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Core, and I'm joined by Kevin Van Eck, and we're live out of the Goose Island office. I'm really excited for another Hot Tip Tuesday, so make sure to grab your cup of coffee, your tea, power smoothie, lemon water, and it is summer, so you might be having a mimosa or a Bloody Mary. And let's jump into the latest episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
Yes, good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Like Amy said, it's Hot Tip Tuesday, so whether it's a coffee or a mimosa, you're in for a good treat. So Hot Tip Tuesday, we've got 3 great ideas, thoughts, perspectives here that we're going to share with you today. So thank you for joining us.
That's right, Kevin. This morning, the first topic that I want to talk about is in regards to our relationships. I want to talk about how we can make a conscious impact on the relationships that we have in our lives. And this holds true for both our personal relationships and our professional ones. We've all experienced challenged relationships on the personal side of things, whether it's with siblings, our significant others, our children. We've all had that. We've all had moments where the relationships are challenged. And we've also probably had that on the professional side as well. We've all had it where we've had a hard time with clients, or maybe we've dropped the ball and our client is really upset with us. Or something that I know has happened to so many of us, somebody in our sphere of influence decides to list or work with somebody else. Regardless, these are things that are really important to us, the relationships in our lives. And I had something happen to me personally recently that had me thinking about the whole concept of relationships. And I came up with this idea, and I'm sure I'm not the first person that has come up with it, but I really said to myself, you know what, Amy? You own 50% of that relationship, meaning I own my side of the relationship. And for a minute, I actually thought, this is really accurate. You know, when you really think about the relationships that we've got, it takes 2 people to make a relationship happen. And if we're owning 50% of it, that means that we can figure out how to put 50% of the right kind of energy into the relationship to make it what we want it to be. Let's face it, there are times where we might feel hurt or offended or upset about something that someone has done to us. And oftentimes our immediate reaction is to withdraw or choose not to say anything, or sometimes even greater, to almost end the relationship. What I want all of you to think about right now is, as you're going through the list of relationships that you've got in your lives, again, whether it's on the personal side or the professional, I want you to take ownership of the fact that you own 50% of all of your relationships. And what I want you to do is think about, what can I be doing to be actually feeding that relationship and making it better and making it stronger? And some of that might actually be falling down on the sword and doing things like saying, I'm sorry, or recognizing when maybe you weren't putting enough or giving enough to the relationship, identifying that and communicating that with the other person. I feel that in my own personal life, I've recently done that in certain situations, and the impact has been phenomenal. By me owning my side of it and recognizing that I can actually put something towards the relationship to grow it in the direction that I want to, is amazing. And it's actually extremely empowering. So I want you to think about some of the personal relationships that you have, ones that maybe you want to have become stronger or get deeper. Think about what you can be bringing to the relationship to make that happen. I also want you to think about it, though, on the professional front. Think about relationships that you've had with past clients, current clients, or even people in your sphere of influence, that you want to make sure that if you can cultivate those relationships and bring your 50% all in, that can actually be a turning point, and it can actually grow and develop those relationships into things that can take your business to the next level, but also just have you grow as a person. And for me, I think that's such a fundamental thing, because we're all so busy and life is passing us by so quickly. So take the time to take a step back and see how you're going to be able to own your side of your relationships.
I do love that so much, Amy. It is brilliant, because a lot of times we look outward instead of inward when we're wondering what's happening with our relationships, or we play the blame game. So looking inside and realizing that we do own 50%, like you're saying, such wise words. So number 2, over the last few months, we've talked about value and giving value and demonstrating our value a lot. given the hot market and given that some sellers feel like they can go it on their own or work with a discount broker and get the same results. But this has been something we've talked about for a long time, which is being able to show our value and show what we are worth so we get what we are worth. And so the first part of this is commissions. Now, we can't talk about commission specifics, but what we can talk about is whatever you're charging. If you believe that you are worth X percent, you will get X percent. So realize that there's a mindset here when it comes to getting what you are worth. So if we believe that we are worth more, we will ask for more. We will get more as long as we are giving more. So this time, mid-year, take a look at what we've done over the last 6 months. Take a look at what pieces of the puzzle you've been using to demonstrate that you are worth more than the average agent. Now, my own story, when I got into the business pre-downturn, I was competing with some really big brokers carrying 250 listings at a time. And I was brand new. And I initially believed that I was worth less because I had to compete on price. But that is absolutely not true. And if we can relate this to the market, and specifically commodities market, if we commoditize real estate brokers and agents, and we say that everybody is worth the same, then we are in a race to the bottom. We are in a race to the bottom because no longer are we providing more. No longer are we giving better service, using tools to help our clients make better decisions, and differentiating their properties or their search by using the things we can to help get them to where they want to go on time. So our challenge to you is look inward now at this 6-month mark into 2021 and realize what pieces of the puzzle have you been bringing in? Have you been using, if you're with App Properties, the digital listing presentation? Are you using all of the tools that are available to you to differentiate yourself and provide a better experience for your client? And if you are, great, continue doing it. Continue learning how to use it in ways that differentiate yourself and differentiate your client's properties. If you're not using those tools, my question to you is, are you willing to learn how to use them and then put them into action to earn a higher commission? And that could mean earning a higher commission of 20% more or 40% more, depending on the commission in your marketplace and what you decide to choose to charge. So with that, the challenge is look back over the last 6 months. What tools do you want to implement moving forward? Because if you can demonstrate your value up front by using things like the digital listing presentation, you are more likely to get what you are worth because you are different than every other broker out there.
Such great advice, Kevin, because everyone out there, you are worth it. And you just have to remember and know that you are. And the last thing that I want to talk about now is owning your future. All right, so the past is the past. We could have, should have, would have, right? Now we're midway through the year, almost into July of 2021. And what I want you to think about is, what am I going to be doing? How am I going to move myself forward and take action now? And let's face it, life is messy. I say that a lot because my life tends to usually be pretty messy. Kevin can attest to that. But, even at the beginning of the year in January, I had all of these great things written down in my planner that I was going to accomplish. Some of them I've done, some I haven't even gotten to. We're all like that, but you have to embrace the fact that sometimes you don't get through to everything and you've got to just keep moving forward. And so you have a choice to make right now. You can choose to let other things take control. You can play the pity game and say, shoot, all of this stuff happened to me and that's why my year isn't where I'm at. Or you might just be tired and you just sort of feel like I'm done with the year. You get to make the choice. And there's a great saying that I had found, I think last year, and it's, you can either throw in the towel or you can take that towel and wipe the sweat off of your face. I'm a little bit more of the latter. So let's wipe our sweat off of our face and let's start figuring out how can I dominate the second half of this year and do the things that I want, not just professionally, but personally. So set some of your goals and take stock right now to figure out, I've got 6 more months to the end of the year. What are some some of the things that I can be doing? Again, it's about you taking control and ownership of what you want and how you want to move forward. The other thing that's so important is don't compare yourself to everyone else. I know we have the tendency to look at others in our business and say, gosh, so-and-so is so much further down the road than I am. Who cares? You're playing your own game and you are your own winner. So be your inner advocate and don't be an inner critic. Start figuring out, what do I need to do to take action? And the last thing is, some of you have had a really phenomenal year this year. 2021 has been a banner year for many. What I want you to start thinking about, if this is your case, is start thinking about, how can I take advantage of this momentum? Momentum begets momentum, meaning the more you push forward and start letting people know about the successes that you've created for your clients, it is going to be a domino effect. And suddenly you're going to have the opportunity to increase your exposure and gain the momentum of new business. But you have to be somewhat strategic and aware of how you're going to do that. Make sure that you're using all the tools that are available to you, all of the resources that you can, to make sure that as you move through the remainder of 2021 into 2022 and beyond, are you setting yourself up for success to take the momentum that you have now and allow it to increase your business moving forward?
Yes, Amy, I love this because all three things we've talked about today require us to look inward. And let's admit it, it's not always easy to look inward at ourselves. But whether it's owning the relationship, whether it's differentiating ourselves by looking inward and seeing what we're doing and using and what we're not, or whether it's owning our own future and making that decision that Amy talked about, we either do it now and move forward into the future, or do we look into the past and play the blame game? So all three of these things are so important for success. And as Amy said, if we focus on these things, if we look inward, our relationships will be better. The pieces of the puzzle will fall into place where we will not only grow our business, but get what we are worth. And we will also have control over where we're going versus being a runaway train in the real estate industry. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And as always, feel free to reach out to us, whether it's on social or via email at coffee@properties.com. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye, team. Make it a great Tuesday, and we'll see you next week.
Letting everything around us control ourselves, then we are, I need to start this over. That was a runaway train.
I thought it was good. I felt like, maybe just like one wheel was just slightly off the track, but all of the remaining three were good.
We were on the shoulder of a cliff on that one.